Uh, Hi, everybody. We are the Ainsworth UCC Palestine-Israel Peace Team. We're coming to you with a request that our church pledge to be a Pillsbury-free church. This really is a natural extension of the previous vote we took to endorse the General Synod UCC Palestine-Israel Network resolution on Palestine-Israel peace. So now I want to ask Beverly Pertu to introduce the pledge.
Is the pledge going to be on the screen at this point or later only?
It should be
I
on
can put it
now.
on now, yep, just let me know. Okay.
Oh, boy. Be made larger.
So this is the pledge that we will be voting on later during the presentation. And it's the AUCC pledge to be a Pillsbury-free church. As members of the justice-seeking congregation of Ainsworth United Church of Christ, we believe that the General Mills Pillsbury plant, owned and operated by the Israeli company Chagall Limited on Palestinian land occupied by Israel, should stop producing Pillsbury products at this site. This factory is located on an illegal settlement under international law. In support of this belief, and here's the pledge, we will boycott all Pillsbury products until General Mills stops producing Pillsbury brand products at this factory. We will participate in actions to promote this boycott, and we pledge to be a Pillsbury-free church.
We will now watch a brief video by Charlie Pillsbury, the grandson of the founder of Pillsbury.
Exact demand that my family, my branch of the family is making of General Mills is that they, as soon as legally possible, stop producing Pillsbury products on occupied territory. And but until they do that, we will continue to boycott and promote this boycott. It's not only on occupied territory, it's a sweatshop where the Palestinians are searched when they come in, when they go out. They work under armed guards all day, and they get half the wages that Palestinian would if they're working in Israel. So it's a wretched situation. It's important that all companies in similar situations do the right thing. I mean, if a company as well known as General Mills would stop making their Pillsbury products, I mean, that would send shockwaves. In a statement like that. The U.S. is a settler colonial state. So is Israel. Israel is doing exactly to the Palestinians what we as North Americans did to the first Americans, to our indigenous brothers and sisters. This is about Zionism, not about Judaism. Zionism is a political ideology. Judaism is a faith. It's a weaponized term that Zionists use to persuade people that we somehow, by supporting Palestinians, we must hate all Jews. I mean, that's just absurd. They are trying to ignore this, hoping it'll go away. Because right now, we're just a mouse dealing with an elephant, but after a while, even elephants have to deal with the mice. I'm not making a financial sacrifice by criticizing General Mills and their use of this factory in the occupied territories. It's really a matter of justice, plain and simple.
Why boycott Pillsbury? As I learn more every day about the atrocities happening to the Palestinians, I ask, what can I do? What can we do collectively? I believe that a boycott of Pillsbury products will bring more attention to these atrocities. I'm encouraged that the United Nations named the Minnesota-based General Mills, who now owns Pillsbury, one of 7 companies in violation of international law for operating a factory in East Jerusalem on Israeli illegally occupied Palestinian land. I am further encouraged that our Palestinian partners have called on the global community to a commercial boycott of everything produced within the occupation on illegal settlements. We ask you today to join in this peaceful resistance. Together, we can assure that General Mills will tarnish its reputation by associating itself so closely with the Israeli military occupation. I learned that General Mills has a policy on human rights, a policy on global responsibility, and statements on ethics. Producing Pillsbury products on illegally occupied land is not living up to any of their policies. Ben & Jerry's, SodaStream, both examples of companies that moved out of Israeli illegally occupied land due to shaming boycotts. Let's join Charlie Pillsbury and support the boycott of Pillsbury products, along with other family members who say, as long as General Mills continues to profit from the dispossession and suffering of the Palestinian people, we will not buy Pillsbury products. And from our own UCC General Synod, as people of faith who seek to live out responsible stewardship of our resources in our purchases, we urge Pillsbury's current owners to hear the cries of Palestinians seeking their rights and cease to put profit above principle. No dough for occupation. No more Pillsbury products until this is resolved. Join by pledging today.
Can we have the list of products?
Somebody didn't give you the script, Marvin. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, did you want that script displayed?
No,
No.
we want the
Oh,
Pillsbury
it was
product
not
list.
you as to when to put it up.
Okay, I have this other document here. One second.
It's the Pillsbury products, avoid the Doughboy list.
Yep, got it.
Okay. Thanks. Oh boy, that needs to be made bigger. On my screen, it's tiny.
It's pretty big.
Big enough on yours? 'Cause it's
Just
tiny
needs to
on
be centered.
mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
it needs to be shrunk down a little now. Oh, well.
There, that's good.
There we go. Oh boy.
So here's a list of the Pillsbury products.
A lot of them come in those round rolls in the refrigerated section. And I know some of you like crescent rolls for your holidays, but you're gonna have to make your own.
Buy something different.
or buy something different.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Beverly.
to reiterate, General Mills manufactures frozen baked goods for its Pillsbury brand in the Atarat Industrial Zone, an illegal Israeli settlement in the occupied Palestinian territory of East Jerusalem. The factory is owned by the Israeli company Chagall Limited and is used exclusively to make Pillsbury products as the Israeli licensee of Pillsbury. The factory is located in a settlement area, Palestinian land occupied by Israel, illegal under international law.
So how do the Palestinians get to that factory? To get to the Pillsbury factory, Palestinians must go through the Kalundia checkpoint. That checkpoint is used by the Israeli military to control Palestinians' access to East Jerusalem and Israel. It's an opening in the huge winding separation wall, or apartheid wall, as the Palestinians call it. Israel requires Palestinians to have permits to pass through the checkpoint. To get the permits, Palestinians must apply in Ramallah, the de facto capital of Palestine, at an Israeli military office run by 18 to 23-year-old kids holding automatic weapons. Where they may get the permit, they might be denied or not have their permit renewed at any time. Hundreds of Palestinians with permits line up at the checkpoint starting at 4 a.m. to get through. Some are denied, some are permitted to pass. Sometimes the Israeli soldiers close the checkpoint, or they don't show up to work at all. We must understand that working at the Pillsbury factory, those working at the Pillsbury factory are given specific permits to go only to that factory. They're not allowed to go anywhere else in Israel to work or to visit. It is also important to remember that Israeli workers don't have to go through this checkpoint at all because they already live in Israel or in illegal settlements with settler-only roads leading to Israel. International pressure works. Boycotting Pillsbury will increase the pressure on Israel to lift Israel's illegal military occupation, which puts Palestinians through these hoops just to get to work.
The United Church of Christ has consistently supported working toward a just peace in the Middle East. The UCC has adopted General Synod resolutions regularly over a period of around 60 years, supporting justice for Palestinians in the face of Israel's expansive policy of building and expanding settlements in Palestinian territory, as well as restricting Palestinian freedom to provide for themselves via a barrier between territories and personal restrictions. The 2021 UCC General Synod overwhelmingly passed a resolution calling for the implementation of the prior resolutions, with particular attention to supporting human rights groups, halting military aid to Israel pending resolution of Palestinian rights, and joining group and individual boycott, divestment, and restrictions movements involving goods fabricated in settlements. In fact,
So there are many ways to boycott, but first I hope we pledge to become a Pillsbury Free Church and then have some fun with it. There are lots of ways, and we're going to, after the vote, if it is a yes, we will publish ways to boycott through the newsletter. And also we're going to have a presentation of a family who's chosen to boycott, and they will give ideas of how a family can do this through the Share the Story time in worship. Beverly.
Marlon, can you put the pledge back on the screen? Marvin?
Thank you.
So again, this is what we're asking the congregation to pledge to.
I have a question.
We'll get there, we'll get there.
I'd like to say, this is a motion.
So we're going to read the pledge again.
Yeah.
So as members of the justice-seeking congregation of Ainsworth United Church of Christ, we believe that the General Mills Pillsbury plant, owned and operated by the Israeli company Shogal Limited on Palestinian land occupied by Israel, should stop producing Pillsbury products at this site. This factory is located on an illegal settlement under international law. In support of this belief, we will boycott all Pillsbury products until General Mills stops producing Pillsbury brand products at this factory. We will participate in actions to promote this boycott, and we pledge to be a Pillsbury-free church. I move that the congregation makes this pledge to be a Pillsbury-free church.
And I second that motion.
It is
Discussion?
now opened up to discussion. I will try to monitor the order in which people raise their hands. Walter, I seen you first.
Yeah, are we going to make the day center and those who use the church, are we going to inform them about this? That we don't want those products in our church?
It's a great idea, Walter. Thank you for it. We certainly can do that. We got to get a yes first.
Yes,
Any more discussion?
I'll say yes.
I see a hand from Sylvia, but I wondered if Pastor Lynn could respond to that question first.
Yeah, we certainly can share our stand. We're not going to force them because we don't dictate what, how they do their program, but we can certainly share our pledge with them.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Sylvia was next,
Okay.
and then Linda. Sylvia, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I just want to comment that in addition to, if we take this pledge that we will be supporting the effort to support the Palestinian people, that we will also be supporting our own health. Just about everything on that list of food was detrimental to our health if we eat it. So we will be doing two things that are very positive: respecting our own bodies and helping the Palestinian people. So I'm in favor.
Linda.
I just want to clarify, I don't eat anything on that list. Even if I weren't gluten-free, I wouldn't be eating it. But I do eat General Mills products like Cheerios. I'm wondering, why is it not expanded to all General Mills? Wouldn't it be more effective, or is that just taking on too much to boycott all General Mills products?
It's a national boycott, and the particular focus is Pillsbury because of this particular factory producing Pillsbury brand products. So we're hoping that they will stop producing those products and stop the lease. The company there stopped the lease to the Pillsbury products. That's the best answer I have. And it's listed on the United Nations list of those who are breaking international law because of any product that's produced on an illegal settlement is breaking international law.
I just want, is there any consideration given to boycotting all General Mills products. That would really hurt them.
Yes, there has been consideration, but we're doing this one focus because they produce frozen Pillsbury products. So if we
Okay.
can, and if we can get that factory to stop it, that, believe me, that gets worldwide attention. And it'll be linked to General Mills. There are boycotts in front of General Mills going on every year when they have a shareholders meeting. So it's not like
Okay.
it's devoid of connection.
I also
Okay.
looked up the fact that there are hundreds and hundreds of products coming under the General Mills.
Yeah.
They haven't just bought up Pillsbury. They are one of the 7 major companies of food products ever. So it would have been way too big.
And Linda, the other thing is that part of the boycott that we recommend is writing to the General Mills CEO. We have his address and we have already spoken at General Mills shareholders meetings. So there will be that connection made so that they'll hear from us. It's not like they're not going to hear from us.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that helps.
Thank you.
We'd like to take on the world, but we're doing it a piece at a time.
We have a motion that's been moved and seconded. I'm looking one last scan for any hands that are up, and then I will put the poll up. I see
Nancy
Hatch.
Let's see, I think I'm unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, just one thing I would raise is, you know, a lot of times if there's a company operating, violating human rights, sometimes it's simply the way they're treating their employees. I think one thing that has to be brought up is then what happens to the people that are employed there? Because it may not be, you know, they may be working under wage. They may have a really difficult time getting to work, getting what's needed to work. But nonetheless, it's providing some kind of income. And, you know, that's a really big issue for, you know, what to do with Palestinians employed in Israeli entities that close down. But I may be in a separate time to talk about what's being done, if anything, to provide options for Palestinians to have jobs / income available, including ones that are in Israeli areas, to have the bigger battle be a fight for fairness of those. Too big a discussion for now, but just something I think to be wary of in the future. Catherine, you're muted.
It's an important point, Nancy, and it's one that the national boycott has looked into. The General Mills company says, hey, we treat them all fairly. They get a good salary. They get the same salary as everybody else. But the Palestinians are the ones who are calling for boycott of all products that are created by companies, international companies, on stolen land. Fine if you're on land that's not taken from Palestinians, but not if you're producing a product on stolen land. So it's the Palestinians who are saying, please boycott these companies. And also there was a list of, I think it's 122 organizations who have signed on saying that's what they want, including this company. So I hope that helps. And if a company would put their factory in the West Bank, not on stolen land, that's a whole different deal. You see, and that helps the Palestinian economy. This does not. I hope that helps too, Nancy. It's an important question you've asked.
Diana Shaw, did you have
We
a
have-
question? I didn't know if Diana had a question. I saw that she unmuted.
I don't know how to mute myself again on the phone. Does
Oh,
somebody
okay.
know?
Just like you would mute a phone call. Same way.
So we have a motion and a second. The poll should be up on your screen. If you're not seeing it, or if you have multiple members in your household, please message me directly through the chat. There's an option to choose to send your message just to me. I will add those in before the poll closes and I present the results.
I'm sorry, it says untitled poll. I titled it and didn't come up for some reason, but the question's there.
And giving it just a few more seconds here. Because I'm still getting some people messaging me directly. Okay.
So essentially we're saying don't poke the doughboy.
So at this point in time, we have 3 no, we have 2 abstention, and we have 1, 2, 3, 32 yeses, so it carries.
Wonderful. I
And
really want to
just-
thank you for listening to us.
And just so you all know, those that are co-hosts, I believe, cannot vote. So that's why there's less people voting than, I know I can't, but I think even the co-hosts can't. So it's not that we're not interested.
It's also why some message me directly if there's multiple families or if they're co-hosts. So that's why that's an option, and the totals don't always match what is in the screen share there, because I had some direct message to me. With that, we have one more
Berlin
piece
had
of
a
business
question.
before we adjourn, which is the update on the search for the music minister director. And so Marvin wanted to share an update on that.
Yeah.
Just a minute, Pastor, you can unrecord this now. Stop recording. Thank you.
And it was just more of a